Hi there, a very good morning, good afternoon to all of you, depending on wherever you're watching me. This simply starts with another video, and this time this video corresponds to the market because the elections would be upon us in the next 3 4 months. So let's discuss about how the market has behaved in the last elections and how uh, it went up or down during that period, and how was the movement of the market in that year, that is 2019, just before the pandemic hit. So we'll have a probably a broader idea as to probably how the market would behave this time around as well, because the valuations seems to be in that vicinity again. So we'll discuss about that, and I'll also discuss about which sectors I feel are going to do well for the foreseeable 2 to 3 years. And so we'll discuss about that, as well as to when to put in the money, roughly at what Nifty levels we could bottom out after the elections if there is a sell off, and we could peak out before the elections if there is a rally, even from these 21,300 levels. So we'll discuss all that. Let's start with a disclaimer. So first of all, a disclaimer that this is not a stock recommendation. People taking any position to any share that I talk about should that with their own due diligence and research. And I'm not in favor or against any company that I talk about. I'm not a member of the NSE and BSE, and that I'm not an official portfolio advisor. These all will be my personal opinion, and any buying selling decisions that you take is purely on your discretion. Whatever I discuss here is purely on the basis of my 11 12 years experience into the market, and being a retail investor in here. So all these discussions are or discussions are about for educational purposes, and hopefully whatever decisions you take with respect to investments into any asset class, kindly do discuss with your financial advisor. So before I talk about the Nifty levels and the markets, his small request: kindly support me on Patreon. Once you do that, help me grow the channel. Help you also ask me questions, seek out answers, and get a detail. Once you get the $10 membership, you'll have access to my portfolio, my watch list, and a number of podcasts on companies, their fundamentals, and analysis on the global economy, the Indian economy, how things are going, how are the Nifty levels with respect to the PE, the valuations, etc. And from time to time I update watch list and put there. So you can support me there. It will help me financially to concentrate on growing this channel even further. So in order to understand about Nifty, what I have done is I have taken out this chart on you can say on trading view, and this is actually weekly chart, and this is 2019. So if I move the cursor here, and hopefully you'll be able to understand the dates. So this is basically you ignore this part, September 2018, and the market fell, etc. But if we start going from here, there's an airy similarity between things that are happening this year compared to what was happening in 2018, although situation and circumstances were totally different. But on the charts it seems pretty similar. So in October 2018 we went down, and so if I move the cursor from here, then from September we made a peak. This time around we made a peak, if you remember, on 11th of September, and we fell. So 3rd of September we made a peak here, and it was around 11,750, and then till October we fell. And I remember that this was probably the Gujarat election time, that in late October we went to even 10,000 levels. So if you see here, 10,004 was the lowest level, and after that there had been a massive rally till the pandemic hit us. So from 10,004, this was in October, we went up, and we went all the way till mid-April, and this was just before the elections, to around 11,700 levels or so, 11,850 if you see here. So from October to from the lows of October till April, we went up 17%. So if I take this 11,800 minus 10,000, so This is actually around 18% move, 18% move on the Nifty from the lows. If I take 18% move in October, lows in October, if I take 18% move from 18,800, which was the low made, if you remember, in October of 2023, then this comes out to be somewhere around, this comes out to somewhere around 22,200. So we are at 21,300. So there is a big possibility that will go up another 1,000 points from these levels. But in my opinion, we could go up even further, and I'm going to discuss that with valuations. But at the moment, if you just concentrate on the chart, we went to 11,850 or so by April, and this was the pre-election rally altogether from October to April. Now, what happened here was that it went up a bit till around November, December. So this was around early December, and then from December onwards till around February, there was no further movement, and we were hovering around these levels of around 10,700 or so. Even here, we were around 10,800. So 10,800 to 10,700 in December, January until February. For 2 months there was this digestion. There's a strong possibility that the next 2 months we could be in a range between 21,700, 21,800, all the way towards 20,800. On a 1,000 point band we might be moving for a couple of months, and that is needed. So desirable is that this market moves in a manner, in a sideways consolidation that will really help going forward. On the other hand, there could be a situation that a traction happens and the market goes to 23,000, 23,500. We'll discuss about that in a bit, that what happens if that takes place, that we have a strong rally even for the next 1.5 months. So till April, so in 2019 we had this rally, and then we had a dip. So when the election results came up after this move, the rally had already taken place, and probably the results were priced in. From 11,800, 850 levels, we fell to 10,000, I think 11,000 levels, around 11,000, let's take it, 11,100. And eventually going forward, I think this was the Balakot time, etc. And the other things that were happening, you can say, in cross border things and other things that were happening. We went further down, and in August of 2019 we made a, you can say, a final bottom around 10,700, 750. Or if I go further, then this is 10,670. So even from these levels of 11,000 or so, 11,100, we went down another 5%. And then the real rally began, which was terminated by the pandemic in early February, and the market started to fall in February. So basically what I want to say here is that there could be a couple of dips. There could be a situation looking at this, and the same thing happened in 2014 as well. Before the elections, from 2013 August till 2014 February, March, we had a strong rally, and then we had a small dip for 6 months, and then the rally again began from September 2014, 15, sorry, 2014, September 2014. So basically what I want to say here is that we are going to be in a structural bull run for the next 2-3 years. But for somebody who's trading from a shorter term time frame, say 3 months, 6 months, they need to be aware, and I do the same thing. So they need to be aware of the fact that any move, any 8 to 10% move from here on in will be laden with a lot of selling. There are a lot of sellers that are sitting there making money and who want to sell at the top. So taking all this into consideration, I believe that this time around, so eventually we fell and then moved up. So let me just take a 6 months chart, and then we'll have a better understanding. So let me just give you an idea as to how things are at the moment. So if I take this out, and you see that everything was going perfectly fine from say here. I mean, if you take a look at these levels. I mean, in November we were around 19,500 400 levels, and then we went at the end of say mid of November we were around 19,400 500. Now the valuations part come in. We were around 19,400 500, and suddenly from 13th of November there was a gap up and we started to move up further. Now around 19,500 in November. If I take in November of 20, that is 2023, this is just about 1.5 months back, we were at 19,500, and this is hard to fathom. We are at 21,300. If I take this move, then this is a huge move that has already taken place, 9% on the Nifty in the last 1.5 months. And you'll be even more flabbergasted to understand that in December, so this was 28th of November, just before the assembly election results, we were sitting at 19,800, and from 19,800 we are at 21,300, or made a high of 21,600 from 19,800. So this is a good 9% move again. So actually from these levels of 19,400 we didn't do much till here, but after that the move really picked up. So even from these levels of say 19,550, we went only to 19,800 or so, and even with that, or 20,200 was the high, and then we consolidated, so we were fine till here. In terms of long-term averages, at around 19,800, if the market were at 19,800 and we would have been here, say even now, then I would have said it's a strong buy. Why? Because the FY24 earnings would be around 950 rupees. We would have been around 20.8 times, 21 times current earnings, because these earnings would be out by April, May. So these are March quarter earnings already. Three quarter earnings would be out by Feb. So current, I would say FY24, we would be around 20.8, 21 times. And if I take FY25 earnings of 1120 rupees at 19,800, this looks even better, because I am projecting a 15% growth in terms of earnings, and that is what all analysts are projecting for the next 2 3 years. 17 and a half times. So these were very good levels to get in. Now what has happened with this 10%, 9-10% move is that at 21,300, albeit we are in December, now let's presume that we stay at 21,300 for the next 3 months, which is looks very difficult. We might be much higher from these levels, but let's say we are at 21,300. At these levels, from current earnings of 950, we are now at 22 and a half times, which is stretched. Normally on a PE basis, a market trades at a higher end of 22 and a lower end of 18. So it's between 18 and 22. Now what is happening is that the earnings are going to go up. There's no doubt about it that Nifty EPS will go up going forward. But the market has run up well before those earnings. Now probably it is because of uh, them factoring in that a huge majority is going to come in, and all things be same, this is going to be very good for an Indian economic growth, and especially Indian centric companies, government centric companies, etc. But all said and done, we are at 22 and a half times, and so it's not cheap at all, but it can become more expensive. That is the point, and that is where people are getting confused as to whether to sell here or not. So what I have decided is I made some points with respect to as to how to go about in the next 3 4 months, in terms of if you have trading positions. Investment, there's no doubt about it. So let's take that investment part out first. I believe that FY25 earnings will be 1120 rupees. FY26 earnings will be closer to 1300 rupees. That's a 15 and a half percent growth on 11/20. So FY26 earnings will be 1300 rupees. If I go to say 2 years from now, say 25 December or so, then we could be looking at a situation where the market will be closer to 29,000. I'm taking the same valuation as today. So today we are trading at 22.2 times earnings of FY24, around that 22.3 times earnings of FY24, if I may. So around that 22 and a half times. If I say 22 and a half times, 2 years from now on FY26, that is 1300, we are looking at 29,000 Nifty. So that's not an issue. 2 years from now, we are looking at a situation where the market will be at closer to, inshallah, it will closer to 29,000, 30,000 in December, January, December of 26, December of 25 or early 26. Somebody who's invested for the next 2 3 years, just stay put, buy into good quality companies. If you want to change something, you can change something here and buy and sit tight for the next 2 years. Coming to the shorter term time horizon, now we are at 21,300 based on 950 rupees on FY24. We are at 22.4 times. The most I would say it could stretch to is 25 and a half times on 950 by March or so, which is 24,200. This is the most. I don't see the market going beyond 24,000 in any case, no matter what happens. And this is where the danger lies with respect to this market going down in even further. Now, if we go to 2021, so let's go to 2021. Let's have a 1 year chart of it and let's go back. So we are in 2022. So even if we go to 2022, first let's see this. So we went to 18,600, 18,900 nearly, 18,800. If you see here, 18,887 was the high. So let's take it at 18,900. And this was December 22 on the basis of FY23 earnings. Now FY23 earnings were 850 rupees. So if I say 18,900 based on a forward earnings of 850, we were again at 22 and a half times, and we peaked out exactly where we are at the moment. And that is why this market did not go up even further from 21,600. So there could be two things here. So in 22, what happened was the market peaked out at 22.2 times forward earnings. Let's go even further. Let's go to 20. Is this one? No. So let's just go to somewhere around October of 2021. And this was it, 18,600 on 19th October. We made a high of 18,600, and this was October 21 based on FY22 earnings, which was around 770 rupees. So FY22 was 770 and we made a high of 18,600 on 770. This was around 24 rupees, or 24 times, 24.1 times. So the market could stretch to 24 times. That's what I'm saying. Currently, we are at those levels that we were in December of 22. Let's come back here. So we were in here. So somewhere around here, we made a top of December of 22. So this is it. So let me just, it gets a little tricky with so many candles. So December of 22, we made a high at 22.2 times. In October of 21, we made a high at 24.2 times. So let's say 24 times. If the market is at forward earnings of 24 times, then we are at a situation of being around 23,000. If I say 24.2 times on forward earnings of this, around 23,000. So I see the market going to 23,000. At most, this could stretch to 25 times. So around 23,000 to 23,500, in my opinion, if somebody is holding from a 3 to 6 months perspective, even from 1 year perspective, say till December 25, 24, if he has a perspective and you're making good money, then it's better to just exit completely and then do what? So do this probably. After that, what you need to do is uh, look at this 6 months chart and you'll have an understanding. So what I feel is that uh, in that period, if if I say if you sell at 23,500, so this was the high was 21,600. We could go beyond of this probably by 7-8%. And so if I say beyond by 7% on 21,600 by 8%, then this comes out to be around 23,300. So 23,300 based on FY24 is somewhere where I see the market could stretch to. And this is, mind you, is extremely expensive. This is not cheap. Why I'm saying this is that in 2008, let's go back. If I say the biggest rally that we think about after 1992, the Harshad Mehta thing, uh, 2008, the rally between 2004 and 2008, the market peaked out at forward earnings 28.1 times. And that was earnings of around 228 rupees, around 6400, 6357. We peaked out 226. Around those were the earnings, 226 rupees. And now we are going to have earnings of 950 rupees. So 28 is the most it has stretched to. I don't see this market going to 28 the way it is looking. I think 24, 25 is the maximum. There could be another situation that the market falls from here for the next 2-3 months. Then there's not an issue, and I'll discuss in the next part as to how far lower the market could go to. And that will give us an idea as to where we should be buying and comfortable buying and holding on to stocks. So at 23,000, so we get this right at 23,300. We are at 24 and a half times. We are not comfortable holding stocks at these levels, being a short term trader, being short term invested into the market for 5-6 months. So where are we more comfortable? So if we say that around 23,500, let's say by April we reach here, and remember what we did in April of 2019, we had a high of 11,800 or so, and we fell somewhere around 12% from there, in a vicinity of say 4 months. So again, if you are not able to follow me, if I take you back to 2019, then you'll have a better understanding again that we fell from April of 2019 or so. These were the levels. This was the exact level. So 11,650, and we fell all the way till August. End of August, we fell to somewhere around in August to September, late August, we fell to 10,700 or so, and eventually then moving up. Take this point out that because of the pandemic we fell, because we were doing well till that point and we were going higher. So we fell somewhere around 12% from 11,800 to 10,700 or so 10,600. So basically what I feel is that there could be a 11-12% fall even this time around. So if we go to 23,500, let's say, we could fall 12% from there, and we could go to 2,800 point lower. That's a lot of you can say decline. So we could again go to 20,700. Now what was the low made this time around? Just recently, probably on 21st of December, we made a low of 20,970. We will break this. We'll go to somewhere around 20,600 or so, and we will go to 20,700 or so and come back from there. People will think that we'll go down to 20,200, 20,000, but I think around 20,700 the market is extremely cheap. Why I say that? Because Now what will happen is by August or September, if we go to 20,700 and if we take the forward earnings now in August of 2024, the forward earnings will be FY25 earnings. FY25 earnings will be around 1120 rupees. We'll be trading at 18 and a half times. What did I say? That market normally trades between 18 and 22 times. So we'll be at the lower end. I don't see more downside. Maximum downside is 400-500 points from there. So we are very comfortable holding at 20,700. Now, now comes my next point and a very important point. Suppose from 21,300 there is some global situation, geopolitical situation or something that in April, say 4 months down the line, even with the rally and everything, we are sitting at say 600 points lower, 2-3% lower. At 20,700, you pause the video and you tell me what will you do. What I'll do is if I have the money, I'll put in the money and I'll buy more. If I don't have the money, I'll just sit tight with my stocks because I don't see this market going well below 20,700 in the next 2 years or so. And the earnings will keep on expanding. So that's why 20,600, 700 are very good levels to buy. And that is exactly why there is heavy buying coming in whenever there is 300-400 point sell off, because at 21,300 we are not ultra expensive with respect to 1-2 years down the line. Short term we are, but and this is why exactly I feel that we could see a 8 to 10% move. So, in that regard, now the point remains that in FY24, the earnings of FY24 will come in by April, May, and it gets, you can say, priced into the prices, and we look at FY25 beyond June. So, after June, we are looking at on every year the next year's earnings, that is FY25 earnings. So, till May, June, if by elections in any case we go beyond 23,000, there will be sell off, but after May June, if we are closer to 21,000, there will be heavy buying. So what you need to do is, if in any case in the next 1 month, 2 month, 3 months we go to 21,500 or around those levels, sorry, 23,500 or around those levels, there'll be heavy profit booking, there'll be heavy selling. But after elections, at around those times or after elections, if there is a decline and we have the market at around 21,000, there'll be heavy buying. And I think that is exactly what is going to happen for the next 8 months. And people will say, okay, we were at say 21,000 in December, we are again at 21,000 in August, and now the valuations are good, and which is exactly what will happen. And over the last 8 months, there's not much money made, although there will be money made into select mid cap, small cap, and etc. And they'll buy big because they will look at FY25 and beyond, FY26, which is again, I had told you that it would be closer to 1,300 rupees. So at 21,000 on FY26 basis will be extremely cheap. So that is why heavy buying is coming in. All things will change if the election results are slightly iffy, then things will change completely, and that is why it is very prudent and important to book profits if you are a short term investor, if you are a medium term investor as well, say 1 year, 1.5 year time frame type. Because if we go to 23,000 and beyond before elections, and which is very much possible, maybe Jan, maybe March, maybe April, then there will be sell off no matter how good the results will be. Probably if the results are extremely good in with respect to the elections, we could even go to 24,000 and then have a heavy sell off of around 12%, which is around 2,900 points, and eventually come back to 21,000. And that is what I am saying, that buy only around 21,000, 21,300, which is the current levels. If you want to buy, you can buy more and just sit. Don't again buy again at 21,000. Don't expect that the market will continue to go up and go to 27, 28,000 or go to 28 times and go to 26,800. So 28 times on 950 is 26,600. Now, so that this is clear in a nutshell. we are being being a short-term trader myself, I might look to just exit completely around 23,500 and buy big around 21,000 and just sit, because we don't know what is the bottom. We could go to 20,500, 20,000, but around 21,000, 21,300 current levels. If it comes back after hitting a high, then I'll buy again. Which sectors to buy? So, in my opinion, the sectors to look at are, to an extent, government centric. In my opinion, more safer to buy are government centric, you can say infrastructure related sectors. So, you have shipping, you have infrastructure, you have capital goods, you have railways, anything related to, you can say, aeronautics. We have airlines, etc. Anything, ports, so on and so forth, and these types of companies. Plus, you add on to that. So you have shipping, railways, and ports, etc., and infrastructure, roads, transport, and so on and so forth, and ancillary companies which help in that. Plus, you look at new age companies, because I feel new age companies could be having a very good year this time around. So, Zomato's, Info Edge, you have something like Nika. Uh, you can look at other companies which are related to new age companies, other platform companies. They are listed. These are listed. I mean, in the IT space, those could do well. So these are the two sections where I'll be more inclined towards buying, rather than the pharmas of the world or consumers of the world. Although these pockets will do well because of the valuations part, but what I'm thinking is that if you go to 21,000, I'm saying again, so basically on the lower end we are saying 20,700. Let's take 21,000. Then on FY 25 basis, we are trading at only under 18, under 19 times. And if we can hold these companies and think that okay, after the results we know that okay, this government has come in, and we hold these types of companies which are more related to government capex, as I said, shipping, ports, and infrastructure, and all those kind of companies, railways, and so on and so forth. 2 years down the line, when the earnings will be, so FY 26, the earnings will be 1,300, and hopefully even 12% from there, the earnings will be closer to 1450 in FY 27. So if you buy, and probably buy judiciously, intelligently in this period of 7 8 months, selling at the relative top of what we have considered with respect to the valuations in March, April, and then buying by August, September. From September 24 till say Diwali 26, over the next 2 years, with FY 27 earnings being around 1450 at least, we could be looking at a situation where the market will be well beyond 30,000, 31,000, 32,000, even with all the gyrations. So buy at 21,000 and sell at 31, 32,000. That should be the motto for the next 2 to 3 years, and that is what I'll be trying to do. I might not be able to do, but that is, if somebody can do this and hold in this period over the next 2 3 years, if the government is strong, they're going to make very good money. So that's my understanding, that's my analysis with respect to the market. Hope you like it. Please like and subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon and get my videos straight away when I post it. Kindly support me on Patreon. So that's all from my end, and do support me through Patreon. Do support me from YouTube, and if you want WhatsApp membership, you can get that. Probably email me for that, and I'll look into it. Thanks a lot.